Aloha. Uh, Today is Friday. This is the second week of the lives. Um, so there's 6 weeks in all. And if you follow all 6 of them, you can watch them later, you can watch them during the live, and then you can complete each challenge. And if you complete all 6 challenges and take part in the videos, then you will receive you'll get into a drawing to receive a special essential oils gift. So I like to use essential oils for lots of things, and I'm just like putting them on a lot lately because it's been this time of triggering old stuff, triggering things that I thought maybe had been moved aside, but they're still here. And so what they do for me is just to calm my nervous system a little bit more. The essential oils and the scent and the breathing it in and the having them on my feet at night helps me sleep a lot better and gives me a chance to just center and really zone into this present moment. I find that I have a pattern of escaping, and I escape my body, I escape the present moment. And when I can really zone in on the present situation and the here and the now, then I can really begin to notice what's going on in my body and notice what's going on around me so that I can really answer to what is going to be effective and what's going to be healthy in a response. So that was kind of a nutshell of what we're going to talk about today. I had the topic in mind to talk about old patterns because they can come up all the time. Sometimes we don't even know they're there. Sometimes we think they're gone. Sometimes we think we've seen them enough and we're done trying to even look at them. I know I feel that way. So let me know how you feel about your old patterns, what it looks like, how they come up for you. Do you notice them? Do you see them in your life often? I think that they can look differently. So we tend to build up old patterns over time, and they tend to come from past stuff. Obviously, they come from childhood in a lot of ways, and we create these patterns in our life, and we may move through them, maybe in our 20s, and then in our 30s they show up again, but they're just a little bit different. And then they show up again in our 40s, and then they're just a little bit different then. So like in therapy, we look at old patterns and we look at repeating patterns in this way to help us know more about ourselves. So we often look, as therapists, we would look at a person's childhood and what was happening in their life to bring up those patterns. Why did you feel that you had to give more to another person when you were younger? And why are you repeating that now? What was it doing for you then? And what's it doing for you now? Is it really serving you? Maybe when you were a child, you had to help the family a little bit more than you really anticipated needing to do. And then you decide to carry that pattern into adulthood, and you help everybody around you when maybe they don't really need your help, but rather they need a connection with you or some sort of input from you that is more of this exchange of energy or exchange of friendship rather than this, I will help you with everything in your life. So how are your patterns coming out and expressed in life now that may not be benefiting you? And even if they're not benefiting you now, it's okay, because we look at how they came about, and we forgive ourselves for them continuing as well. So, for example, I've had this repeating pattern of attracting relationships in my life that maybe weren't so serving. my partners who weren't very supportive in my life, and they weren't really supportive of my ideas and my beliefs. And this was an opportunity for me to address in my own self what it was that I was needing and how I could change these patterns and explore other ways of being. Did I really want to stay in that relationship? Did I want to succumb to that idea of being that person with that unsupportive partner? Did I feel that in me that was happening and I needed to maybe stand up and support myself? And how could I support myself? What ultimately does serve me in this life? And that's the idea in CODA, Codependence Anonymous. They look at repeating patterns as a way to show us our stuff, to show us what's happening with us and what are we needing to shift so that we can bring in a more clear, open-minded idea of how we can operate in the world to serve us and be healthy, open, honest, vulnerable with other people, and begin to feel this connection of being heard, seen, and understood in the world and for ourselves as well. So a couple of things about changing your patterns and how that might look. The first, I mean, old patterns, it's very subtle to change them. Sometimes you may not even know that they're shifting, but the way to start now is to change your reactions, change your responses in the world, change how you react in a relationship. If it's with your parents or your children or your partner, how are you responding in a conversation? And how can you change your approach and respond to them a little more open-hearted and a little bit more within your own true self, rather than in this mind processing of anger, or what am I supposed to do about that, or how do I respond to that, and just take a minute. If you don't know how to respond, then take a minute and don't respond. If you often react in a negative way, or you often repeat or think about the situation over and over again, or things are just bubbling up inside of you and you're not sure what to do with it, then switch modes and see if there's one little tiny thing you can switch. Is there a way you can greet someone differently than you have been greeting them? Is there a way that you can change the way that you approach yourself? Is there a way that you can change how you show up for yourself? So just watch and pay attention to how you show up for others and how you show up for yourself, and see about gently moving towards a different direction, moving towards a more open-hearted, full expression of you. So what I mean by this is what really gives you those open-hearted, good vibes? What gives you the warm tinglies, and what helps you feel more alive? So even in your posture, what helps you to feel more like you're open and sitting, rather than what makes you feel like you're hunched and maybe sad or scared? So notice how even physically you are being, and see about just changing the way that you're physically showing up in the world. And then also imagine it energetically and figuratively of how you are being in the world. What are you doing today? How are you reacting? We cannot control other people and how they react or respond. How we react is our choice. So you get to choose. Choose how you show up for yourself, and choose how you notice what it is that you are doing that is more self-serving than necessarily self-sabotaging. That was a great deal of information. So yeah, if you want any other information about your own personal patterns and how they might be showing up for you in the world, I offer one-on-one sessions, and this can often include inner child work and looking at how old patterns in our inner child or in our life as a child, how they can be showing up now and where that connection is, that we can start to clear it out and let it go. So my challenge for you this week is to get a picture of yourself from a time where you might be repeating old patterns. So think back to a time where you were repeating these patterns that weren't very serving, and maybe they came from a long time ago. And then it could be like as a teenager, or in your 20s, or as a child, depending on how old you are now. And just think about what it was that you were, how you were operating and showing up in the world then. What old patterns were you following then? And post up and just tell us what you've learned since then about yourself. And if this feels too personal and you don't want to share about what you've learned or how you've come out of old patterns, maybe just share about something you are grateful for in that moment as your younger self. And tag me at Reflective Healing on Facebook and at Reflective Healing on Instagram. And then use the hashtag old pattern clearing. And I'll put all of that in the comments so you can see all of that. So yeah, I'm so grateful for everything and all of you, and for this work and for this healing journey. And thank you so much for being on this journey with me. Aloha.